Welcome to another segment with Dave and myself, and today we're going to do something for you women. Last set of videos we did something for the men. We got them all teed up, dun-da-da, pulsing muscle and all that stuff. Today, I have a lot of women usually come see me about hot flashes. You know, they're in heat, but not in a good way. And those men who are married to those women or living with those women can testify. No, it's not a good way. Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde here. One moment she's a doctor, next moment she's a... Okay. And I understand that, and I'm making a little light of it, and I understand the severity of this, I do. When you're going through this, your body's going through a change, and part of it is because of the accelerated aging from the food you're eating, and a lot of it is because you've been loaded up with a lot of hormones in the past from the food you've eaten, with the pesticides and the soy and all the other crap you put in the food, so by the time you get to that point, your body has an overabundance of these hormones. And your body now is trying to get rid of them. You're no longer going to be making babies, so the body's not going through the change. And so in the interim, your body goes through a fevering state where your body gets hot, trying to burn out this excess going on. And for a lot of you, it's a lot of discomfort. And I do understand this. I don't know what that feels like. Don't really want to know. I've seen what you women go through, and I'm glad I'm a man. you know, seeing the birthing thing, I think, really? Anyway. You women are built differently, you can handle it, and I'm glad you can. Now, I made this tea once for myself to regulate my male hormones so that I maintain a balance. And I had a woman in the store that was going through hot flashes. She was like fanning herself, she was doing, kind of thing, because she was having a flash. So I gave her the tea, and she said within about half hour, the hot flash was gone, and stayed gone for a couple days. I said, really? So she drank this tea for the week, during that cycle time, and she never had no hot flash the whole time. So I gave this tea to a couple other women, and they loved it. One woman said she wanted to kiss me because it completely eradicated the hot flash. Now, I cannot say this is going to work for all you women, for every woman. It's just not doable. Even pharmaceutical drugs do not work for everybody. So, but it may help a vast majority of you, and we're going to give you the formula. And so, if you can't see the formula, please let me know. We'll annotate it on the video as well, so you can see it. Now, there are some things you women who are having these flashes need to stop doing. You need to stop eating things like peas. You need to stop eating things like soy. Okay, no canola oil. Anything that's going to attack or disrupt the thyroid, or going to attack or overload the system with hormones, you need to stop. End of story. No grains in the diet, and I mean it. No cereal, no pasta, no rice, no corn, no barley, no oat. None of that. Some of you are going to say, well, what are we going to eat? Oh, and that never ceases to amaze me to the level of addiction people have on grains. I know how bad it is because I went through it too. But the thing is this, you have tons to eat. You still have your dairy products, your fermented dairy products, your unpasteurized dairy products. You still have cheeses. You have meats of different sorts and kinds. You have all your vegetables. You can eat, anything you want. You can have a potato. You can have squash, cassava, fruits. The only fruits you're not going to be eating are bananas, grapes, raisins, watermelons, and dates. Avoid those. High glycemic sugars, you don't need them. They can cause an imbalance in mineral uptake in the body, and you need magnesium, you need calcium, you need phosphorus, again, to regulate the bodily flow. Now, what we have here are some of the herbs. This is Schizandra Berry. Okay, everything you're going to do here is going to be equal portions. Okay, so you put 1 ounce of this, you put 1 ounce of everything, 2 ounces, whatever. Okay, so we're going to keep it simple. Now, this is a guideline for a lot of you. This is not the end all, it's not the be all. The idea here is to get you started. If you need to tweak the thing, you will know yourself enough. If you need to add more tea or less tea, more Schizandra, or less Schizandra, more peppermint, less peppermint, different things. These things have anti-estrogenic components to them. They have hormone balancing components to them, and they will even initiate a little testosterone in you women who are low in that as well, because it's the testosterone they're overlooking in a lot of you who are going through the change of life. So, Schizandra Berry is one of the things you're going to use. Okay, you're going to use something called Jiagolan. It's called Jiagolan for 7-leaf tea. Okay, you can buy this at any Chinese shop. It's got something called, it's got 89 what they call gymnosoids in it, which are basically the antioxidant properties of this plant. And this plant has a very powerful effect on the liver, on balancing the hormones, and even strengthening you. This is actually more effective than ginseng as an adaptogen. So again, this is something you can use. You're going to use something called Rehmannia root. Okay, it's a root that is used for purifying the blood and works in the spleen area. So again, this is something you want to use. Okay, it works with the Schizandra, with the liver, and works with this. You're going to use a little white pine. White pine will produce a little testosterone in you. Not to mention the fact that it's anti-estrogenic and has a lot of antioxidant properties to it as well. You're going to use green tea. Green tea for D. This also has anti-estrogenic properties, high levels of polyphenols, and supports the system. You're going to use peppermint because peppermint has luteolin in it. What does luteolin do? An aborigine, it pulls estrogen out of the body. And you're going to use one of my favorite herbs called Fo Tiang or Ho Shu Wu. Okay, and again, you get this in any Asian market. Okay, and you put it together. This has hormone balancing properties that supports the spleen, supports the liver. This also has adaptogenic properties similar to ginseng. Okay, but it's milder. So those of you who can't take ginseng, Fo Tiang is another adaptogen. This has been around for a long time, and then they attack to say it can cause liver issues. You know, I've used this stuff for 30 years. I've never seen anything happen with my liver other than get healthier. This may also affect eyes, and if you combine this with nettle and another herb called Melidia, you can actually reverse gray hair. Okay, going back to normal. Dave's always making comment about my hair. He says, every time you come see your hair color's changing.
It's like a chameleon, Tony.
Yeah, see, it's my alien side. From eating that orgasmically organic crap in my life. Ooh, get me out.
Like how you get excited about that word.
Orgasmically organic, yeah, I really... Anyway, that's how much I believe in this stuff. 30 years ago, we did have organic foods. Not today. Today, we got, whatever we got. You know, well, you saw what Codex is doing to it anyway. All right, but you put this together, boil it in a tea, okay? Boil it, even if you want to put it in a pressure cooker and pressure cook it down, you can do that as well. But boil it as a tea, and drink 4 or 5 cups of this a day. You know, 2 or 3 ounces. That's all you really need. And you may find that it may help a lot of you seriously get over a lot of hot flashes. It will make it a little bit more bearable and more comfortable. You will still be going through the transitional change, but you must minimize loading the body up with estrogenically based foods that can cause problems. I'm not a big believer of the DIM products or the other products because they can actually be more counterproductive. If you're not getting enough iodine in your health, iodine also regulates the conversions of estradiol to estrione to estriol. If you don't get to estriol, you have an abundance of estradiol, you wind up with cancer. You've got mutations going on. This is why it's imperative that women take iodine, and you need twice the iodine than men because of the estrogenic nature of the way your body produces estrogen and how it regulates estrogen. All these other products are wonderful and great, but see, things that from the cruciferous family can be goitrogenic. And if your thyroid's already compromised because you're not getting enough iodine in your diet, these will further break down the thyroid. This is why I'm not a big believer of these things. Any sulfur you consume, garlic, onion, leek, chive, will also help the body reduce estrogens in the system. Excuse me, any lecithin that you can consume, egg yolk lecithin and sunflower lecithin, you notice I'm saying egg yolk and sunflower, these are properties that go into the liver and again help the liver expunge estrogens out of the system. The cheapest anti-estrogen food you can consume is the white part of a citrus bioflavonoid from orange, lemon, pomelo, grapefruit. Peel it, the potato peeler, and that little white part has estrogen binding properties, and it pulls it out of the system. It's very cheap and very inexpensive. So again, you have options here and you have things here. Let me read this here. This tea will help. You can make a batch of it, make a 2-liter batch if you want, and leave it in the fridge and just drink it that way. You can leave it in a pot and reheat it all the time if you want, just by adding more water. So you take a cup out, put a cup back in, and reheat it. You can do it that way too. Make sure you are using iodine. as well to reduce the estradiol and to estriol. This is part of the hormonal removal in the body. Make sure you're getting adequate magnesium as well, just to assist in the reduction of estradiol. Magnesium helps to do this. Foods to consume or use are rosemary, parsley, sage, peppermint, celery root, hawthorn berry or hawthorn leaf, nettle root, turmeric, ginger. These will all assist in the elimination of the excess hormones. Okay. Foods to avoid: all grains and grain-like foods to be eliminated. Absolutely no soy in a diet whatsoever. Soybean, tofu, dami, pea, any GMO foods, which is going to be pretty tough. No vegetable oil or soybean oil, no margarine or any synthetic butters, no high fructose corn syrup, brown or white sugar, no molasses, no rice. This will further corrupt the endocrine system. If you are taking bioidenticals, some of you are taking bioidenticals, which I question a lot of times, because bioidenticals sometimes are the same as the normal stuff, okay? You make sure they are from plant or animal-based, glandulars. If you are taking pharmaceuticals, then every other day and every 4 weeks you cycle off them. If you are taking something like DHEA and they added progesterone, estradiol, and together, do not take them for more than 4 weeks at a time. Your body works on a cycle. 3 weeks on, 1 week you're resting. That's how a woman's body works. That's how her physiology works. These bioidenticals are just going to keep the load of hormones in the system. So at the 3rd week, you take a 7 to 10 day break, just like if you were menstruating. Because that's what your body normally does. You're still on that, what they call circadian rhythm. Okay? So you need to take a break. And in that break, you may be using things like evening primrose oil, the blood tonic that I show you how to use, how we've made. During that time to, again, purify the blood. Even if you're not bleeding, you still need to use things that are going to purify the system. Okay? And you still need to take the rest. Do not use these things every day, every other day. You do not want to overload on hormones. That's because that's what they're doing. Okay, some women tell me around these things 6 to 8 weeks. I say, really? And when do you take a break? Well, 6 to 8 weeks. Really? Your body works on a 4-week cycle. Why would you go 8 weeks? Okay, so think in those terms, okay? The fats you want to use are saturated fats and primrose oil, especially during that week you're off, 7 to 10 days. You want to drink the teas, you want to use the iodine, and you want to use evening primrose oil. I found that evening primrose oil does work for alleviating a lot of the hormonal distress. So there you have it. I can't make any kind of electrical charges or anything because I don't have the equipment, and quite frankly, it doesn't work. But anyway, give that a go. Give it a go. Like I said, this is going to support your liver, spleen, arteries, respiratory, hormone balancing, and blood. Okay, it's a very simple remedy, and you should be able to get these things almost anywhere. Support these ethnic markets. The ethnic markets seriously have a lot of components in them. Don't be afraid because something's made in China. I've been using stuff from China for 30 years. I'm still here. I don't see this scaremongering thing. People think that China is such a bad stuff. I can talk to Chinese people here in Canada all the time. Great people, great, awesome people, and they are not going to kill their own people. Think about that for a minute. Okay. Now in Canada, United States, we don't even label GMOs, and we don't want to. And as you can see, we're under the Codex Alimentarius. We're irradiating our food and doing all these other things. So our food is not any safer. So support your ethnic markets, support your Polish markets, your German markets, your Chaldean markets. You'd be surprised at the treasures you will find in these little markets, Asian markets. Seriously, don't get caught up and hell bent on, well, it's from China, it's from this. If it's going to help you heal, what the heck do you care where it comes from? What do you care? I go to the European market, with the it's got a Polish theme to it, but they got some awesome stuff in there. I use it all the time. They're maslanka and their kefir and their yogurt. They're awesome. So use what you got and use it so that it's going to benefit you. You got to remember you're under several attacks. The last thing you need is to have some kind of attitude toward a culture because the media is telling you need to hate this guy. Really? All right. Until your next segment.
Did you want to do the USB?
Oh, see, God.
Keep you on track, Tony.
I know.
Yeah.
You get caught up on this stuff and forget about this. All right. Dave and myself will put out a USB. And again, it's an informative USB. It's got our videos on there, 120 of them, which some are 2 and 3 part. We got the 3 books I've done. We've got the radio shows I've done on the micro effect. I do a show every Saturday between 8 and 10 p.m. on the micro effect. So we've got a show from 2007 on there. We've got 3 bonus things that we've put on there to give you as well: farming databases, bushcraft, and homesteading. And again, we have them. They're available. And again, we're saying the same thing. We'll even barter for them. It's about bartering and exchange. And again, we're looking at things, things that are going to help with the survival mechanisms. We're not really interested in music and other things, but we are interested in, things like, say, capacitor units and power supplies like solar panels or whatever, or seeds, whatever, anything. Basically, just put it out there. We'll see what we can do. Communications like even CVs and stuff like that, camera equipment, whatever. So we'll trade, we'll barter, even computer technology, whatever. And if you have people in your network that cannot afford this, don't have nothing, make them a copy. Make them copies. Burn them on a disc if you can't afford a flash, whatever. Make them copies, let them have it. Okay? We're not opposed to this. Not at all. So if you've got a network in Europe and you want to buy one, you want to share it with 10 people, by all means. We don't care. It's there. Contact Dave or myself. We have the units. Okay, just so you know. I'm not even sure what we want to call this, but anyhow, we'll have to come up with a title.
There you go. Next.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing too, Dave had an idea. Great idea. See, we collaborate all the time with bouncing ideas. If any of you who have used our videos have used these things and seen success with them, why don't you make a YouTube and send it to us so that we can publish this, on the YouTube, so that people can be inspired to see that somebody has done these things and has seen some positive effect. I get emails all the time saying, I've done these things and it's great and wonderful, but if you can do a YouTube, if you're not shy, send us a copy. We'd be interested in seeing it. We'd be interested in seeing your results, and I think other people would also be interested in seeing what you did, even if you modified whatever we showed you. Put it out there. Put it out there. Send me the email on it. And if you don't have my email, just look on the end of the videos. Usually there's an email address, or contact me in a private message saying, "Tell them we've got a YouTube here we want to share with you," and then I can send it over to Dave, and Dave, with his magical technique, can put them on the YouTube, and we can do what were we going to call that?
Well, like more of a compilation.
Yeah.
Something that once we get enough that will be.
We'll call it. What were we going to call it? You said before, where people were inspired and they did it. You said something.
Word is escaping me as well.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Got me on this thing here. Basically, it's just going to be a profile.
Like testimonials?
Testimonial, yeah.
Yeah.
We do a testimonial video so that, because we got people from all over the planet watching these videos, and, some people don't speak English too well, and I get that too. So if anybody's doing these things and they talk about these things, you might inspire people in other countries as well, especially those countries who are not as developed. I can't say as fortunate as we are, because I'm not sure we're that fortunate anymore. But anyway, chemtrails, genetically engineered foods, yay, we're fortunate to get experimented on. So again, lucky us, yay! Anyway, we want to be able to share that and inspire people to take an active hand and to inspire hope. We don't need to go to the medical field. We don't need to go to the pharmaceutical field. I mean, if you break an arm, break a leg, yeah, you may need to go get them to reset the bone. But seriously, a lot of these illnesses and issues that you're dealing with today have been induced by the food supply or the chemicals that they've exposed us to. So again, and that goes on every front, from endocrine disruption, to cancers and everything else. So again, yeah, send us a video. We'd like to hear it. We'd like to see it too. I mean, I see it all the time. I read the comments. I try to answer all the comments. And again, it would be inspirational. And then too, by doing that, you might be able to help somebody else with a technique maybe that's different than what I showed you, which I don't have a problem with. I always tell you, make them better, and then share the health. So by all means. So again, if you can do that, we'd appreciate it. I think everybody else would too. All right. So the next segment, to your health.